Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie Mori. I'm a multiple number one international best-selling author. I'm a book publisher. I'm also a business strategist and a life coach. And I'm here today to share with you how to do a decade in review. But before we dive in, I want to see who's hanging out with me. And if you're here with me live, please let me know, where are you hanging out from, right? Now, the purpose of this broadcast is to share with you, before you think about what you want to do or achieve, create, or experience in the next 10 years, we're going to talk about how to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. I know I'm starting earlier than the designated time, but that's because I want to make sure that I'm testing my lighting, my volume, etc. Now, if you see the what's called a crawler down here at the bottom, it says, when you get this book, Unstoppable, it's, by the way, 99 cents until December 31. Now, when you get this, the Kindle copy, did you know you can buy one for your friends? If you already own a copy, you can buy a Kindle copy for your friends. Now, when you do that, you get a copy. Let me know that you did, right? Whether you, then this is only for today. I want you to give one to your friend, 99 cents. When you do that, I'm going to give you not only my bonus. It's a $79 online course. It's called the Exponential You 7-week boot camp. But I'm also going to give you the free ebook that I am creating, and it's called How to Do a Decade in Review and Create a Supernatural 10-Year Plan. So I'm going to give you this ebook that I'm about to publish. I'm going to give it to you for free, as well as my $79 online course called the Exponential You Success Bootcamp. And all you need to do is, if you already have a copy of this on Kindle, buy one for your friend and then just show me your receipt, and then I'll give you my $79 online course for free, as well as the ebook that I am about to publish, How to Do a Decade in Review and Create a Supernatural 10-Year Plan. Okay? Well, thank you so much for joining me. By the way, before we move on, I want you to, again, let me know, where are you hanging out from? I am hanging out from Seattle suburbia, and today it's a bit drizzly, rainy, and it's okay. It's part of the winter season here in Seattle suburbia. Now, here's what I want you to also do. As soon as you type in where you're hanging out from, I want you to share this broadcast, because sharing is caring. And there's a clockwise pointing arrow and also the word share at the bottom right of your screen. And when you do share this broadcast, I'm going to give you a graphic I created. It's called the Exponential U Zone versus the Comfort Zone. Now, you do not want to be in the comfort zone. Who wants to be stuck in the comfort zone? And so you want to know whether you are in the exponential U zone, or whether in many areas of your life you're living in the comfort zone. Okay. So just click the share button, click the share arrow, I should say, and also just the word share, and share this broadcast on your Facebook timeline. And I'm going to give you the exponential U zone versus the comfort zone for free. Okay. And if you're just now joining me, please let me know where you're hanging out from, because we're going to get started in just a few moments. Let me know, are you hanging out from another part of the country or another part of the world? I'd love to read your comments. Okay. While I'm doing that, let's see here. I am checking my Facebook timeline right now, and yay, Kaloy, my friend Kaloy is with us live. Thank you for joining us, Kaloy. Now, I wanted to let you know also that you can email me the screenshot that you purchased the book Unstoppable, Kindle copy, 99 cents, for your friend or for your family member, and email me at customerstrategyacademy@gmail.com. And then I can give you full access to my $79 online course called the Exponential You Success Bootcamp, as well as my upcoming ebook entitled How to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. Okay, let's dive into the content of this broadcast. Now, when we're going through this, there's going to be a replay. So don't worry if I'm going too fast because you can always watch the replay and rewind the replay. What you're going to need when you create your 10-year plan, and as we do a decade in review, is you need a journal. You need something to write on. And this is a journal that my husband gave to me for Christmas, and it has a handy dandy pen holder there, and as well as this elastic band here, so that when I put it inside a backpack or my purse, it's not going to open. Have you ever had those things where they open and then they get creased because the book opened up? And so if you put things inside your purse or your backpack, then these pages get creased. So this handy dandy elastic band here keeps the book shut, keeps my journal shut. So you'll want to have your journal handy with you when you do this decade in review. And make sure you have your pens, preferably gel pens, because did you know that studies have shown that when you use several colors, when you are writing things down, not only does different parts of your brain get engaged, but the different colors also makes it more memorable and it makes it more interesting. And that way it's not something that's a drudgery to do, right? So I picked purple, blue, pink, and red, orange. And these are not actually mine. Mine are arriving. I ordered a new set of gel pens. Mine are arriving today. These are my daughter's. We gave her and we gave our son some gel pens for them to use. Okay, now let's dive in. And forgive me if I look down because I have my index cards ready to go. And let's see here. I want to let you know that this is going to be a broadcast where we discuss how to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. Many people can create a plan, that's fine. But I want you to know that you are a supernatural being and you can create a supernatural 10-year plan. This is the subtitle of the ebook I'm creating is What to Do Before You Think About What You Want to Achieve, Create, and Experience in the Next 10 Years, and before you say goodbye to the 2010s. Now, if you're watching this broadcast after January 1 of 2020, it's fine. Do you know why? Because, when they plan skyscrapers, when architects and contractors, engineers want to build something that's going to last, something that's going to be huge, something that is monumental, it doesn't take them an hour, it doesn't take them 30 minutes to draft the structure, to draft and create the blueprint, right? So don't worry if you're watching this broadcast after January 1, 2020, and you haven't created your 10-year plan yet. I mean, you have a whole decade ahead of you. Take your time. There's no rush, no condemnation, there's nothing punitive, okay? So just let that stress go. Okay, I want to quote a Bible verse, and it is this: Where there is no vision, the people are unrestrained. That's Proverbs 29:18 from the New American Standard Bible. I like the other version as well. This is from the Passion Translation, and it says, Where there is no clear prophetic vision, people quickly wander astray. Okay, so you want not just vision, but the deeper meaning in this word vision here is a clear prophetic vision where you're not just living by your natural mind, but you're living and tapping into the supernatural. Now, what is so important about doing this in this present time is because 2019 isn't an ordinary year. It marks the end of a decade. So, again, if you're doing this today, which I'm broadcasting December 30, 2019, and you do this exercise, it's going to be well worth your time. And if you're doing it after January 1, 2020, there's nothing punitive. Keep going and start diving into this broadcast and really taking the time to do this exercise because it's going to be well worth your time. If you don't have a vision, right? If you don't have a clear prophetic vision, then you're just going to squander the next decade. Okay, let's dive in. Part one. What do we do? If you have your journal, You have your pens, your gel pens. Part one is let's celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. Why is it important to celebrate your wins? Well, we'll find out in just a few moments, right? So, step one in celebrating your wins is I want you to think about what you're proud of. Over the past 10 years, right? Number one, write down what are you proud of. Let's just cover this because it gets distracting. Write this down. What are you proud of? And don't feel, you know, um, feel stressed if I'm going fast. Again, you can rewind the video, right? You can rewind this broadcast. So write this down. What are you proud of? Secondly, what are you happy about? What are the things over the past 10 years that you're happy about? Write this question down and then do this exercise later. Okay. Number three, what moments with God stand out? This is important because you're not just thinking about things that are, say, temporal or things that are maybe they do make you happy, but what are also the things and moments with God that stand out? Because those are really exhilarating and they make a permanent mark on our lives. Because anything, when we experience and encounter God, it'll definitely stand out, right? Okay, so those are the three questions that I want you to answer after this broadcast in your decade in review. Okay, now number four, this is important as well. Write this question down. What moments of ministry to others or generosity stand out? What moments of ministry to others or generosity stand out? When you're serving other people, whether you're in the workplace or whether you're at the grocery store or you're at an educational institution or wherever you are, and you have served others, or you're at your church community and you minister to others, write down this question and then later answer what moments of ministry to others or generosity stand out. Okay. And number five, this is a decade in review. So this is going to be very deep and it's going to be well worth your time. Number five, what are obstacles you've overcome? Were there any relationship challenges that you've overcome? Were there any business issues that you were able to overcome? Were there any hurdles in your personal life that you were able to overcome? Where were there any challenges in your spiritual life that you were able to overcome? So write that down. Okay. Number six, let me just put the index card again. Number six, very important. What are some results you created in your life? Think about the past 10 years and reflect on what are some of the results that you created in your life. Very important to think about these things because these are the things that you can be proud of, you can be happy about, and they stand out to you. Okay. And again, it may take a little time, but it's well worth it. Number seven, what are some results you created in your career or business since 2010? So, number six is what you've created in your life. And this is more your professional life. What are some results that you created in your career or business? Or if you have a career and you have several side businesses or a side business, then write all those down. Okay. Now, once you're done with that list, it's going to be a list that I know is going to be long because I know you and I know that 10 years is more than enough time to have things that you're proud of, things that you're happy about, things that you've created, results that you've created in your personal and professional life. And again, write those down in your journal and take your time. There's no rush. This is a time of reflection. You know, we are so busy. We are going here and there. We have so many activities, so many social obligations. We have work, right? But when we take the time to reflect and look back on an entire decade, it's going to be significant as you move into the next decade. All right. So, what do you do after you've done that? Well, once you're done, go over the list and then circle everything that's most important. You're going to have a long list and just circle the most important ones. Next, write down why these items you circled are most important. Let's say, for example, you were able to mend a broken relationship and you're proud of that and you're happy about that, then you're likely going to circle that. And then after you circle that and you've circled every other thing that's most important, you can write down why is it important to you? Why was mending that broken relationship important to you, right? Because when you know why, then you're going to know how to create your supernatural 10-year plan. Okay, and again, just to reiterate what I just said, when you know what things have made the biggest difference in your well-being, your standard of living, and your quality of life, you can make wiser decisions as you plan the next 10 years. That's why it's important to know what you're most proud of and why. Okay. Okay, that was step one. And again, these are all going to be in my free ebook. So when you get the 99-cent copy of Unstoppable, which is on sale right now, 99 cents until December 31, for your friend, if you already have a copy, your Kindle copy, did you know on Amazon that you can buy for others? If you look at the page of Unstoppable and on the right side, underneath the price, Kindle price of 99 cents, you're going to find a button that says, or a section that says buy for others. So when you buy a 99-cent book of Unstoppable for your family or friends, then I'm going to gift you, I'm going to give you my $79 course, which is called the Exponential Success Bootcamp course, as well as the free ebook that's called How to Do a Decade in Review and Create a Supernatural 10-Year Plan. I'm going to be finishing this ebook up soon, so I'm going to give you that very, very soon. Okay, so that was step one. And let's talk about step number two. What's step number two? I want you to think about your family, your health, your finances, career, relationships, business, time, and creativity. And step two is your learnings. I'm calling it your learnings. What did you learn? So this is step two. So number one, write everything you learned over the past decade, big and small. Doesn't matter whether it's some tiny thing that you learned or it's a major thing that you learned. Write these all down. So you think about all these different areas. And where's my, let's see, where did my pen go? There it is. Think about these areas: your family, right? Your health, your finances, your career, your relationships, business, if you have a side business, or if you are a full time business owner, your time and your creativity. What did you learn? Okay. Now, after you've written what you've learned, and I'm sure you have a long list because a decade is a long time, and I'm sure you learned many things. You know, there's the expression, I learned something new today. So that's why I believe that you're going to have a long list, right? Okay, the next thing to write about in the learnings section is what mistakes did you make and failures you experienced, and what did you learn from them? Because it's a-okay to fail. In fact, if you don't fail, I would question that you're doing anything worthwhile. Failure is a part of life, and that's where I learn the biggest lessons is when I've failed. And so what mistakes did you make, and what failures did you experience, and what did you learn from them? Right? Next, ask yourself this question. Well, actually, this is the next task. Look at this list and ask what lessons were the biggest game changers and why are these important to you, right? Look at all the lessons you've learned over 10 years, big and small lessons. And then take a look at what the biggest game changing lessons are and why these lessons are important to you. All right. Moving on with section two or step two. What difficulties and challenges did you go through? And what did you learn or gain from them? When we go through life, this is a fallen, broken world, and we're going to go through challenges, difficulties, trials, even tribulations. People go through sickness, people go through financial difficulties, relationship difficulties. So, again, what difficulties and challenges did you go through, and what did you learn or gain through them? And number five, as you move into this brand new decade, what do you want to remember so that you can avoid making the same mistakes? So you've jotted down the difficulties, the challenges, the trials, the mistakes, the failures that you've experienced, and you've written down what you've gained from them. Now, from all these different learnings, what do you want to remember so that you can avoid making the same mistakes going forward? Okay. All right. Now we're in part two of how to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. Okay. Again, this is now part two and part two of this broadcast, how to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. Part two is let go of your past. You know, some people I know are stuck in bitterness, unforgiveness, emotional baggage. So we're going to talk about this, right? So step three is what are you willing to let go of? What are you ready to let go of, right? And you are going to create three separate lists, and I'm going to list these down. The first list is old goals and projects. Are there projects that have just been sitting in your office or your maybe it's now in your closet area or in your garage that you have really not made the time and space for? What are those old goals and projects? So list that down. That's your first list. Your second list is old emotional baggage that you're ready to release. Is there anyone that you need to forgive? And this includes yourself. Were there mistakes that happened? Were there blunders or failures that were because of your choices that you are ready to forgive yourself of? And also others. Think about others. So this is very important because as you move into the new decade, into this next fresh 10 years, it's very important to be willing to let go of old goals and projects. And number two, old emotional baggage that you're ready to let go of. Okay. Now, the third list, write down limiting beliefs and rotten or offensive stories that you tell yourself. These are excuses that you're now ready and willing to let go of. What are some what are some things that could be limiting beliefs? Well, I'm too old to do this and this and this, or I'm too young to do this and this and this, or I it's everything's been said and done. What difference does it make if I do this? What does it matter that I share something that has been written or said before, right? That's a limiting belief because you have your own voice. You have your own set of circumstances. You have your own story that nobody else has. It might be a similar message, even the same message, but it's told from a different perspective. Your perspective, your story. Another thing is, I'm not good enough. That's a limiting belief, right? Or what excuses have you made this past decade that you're ready and willing to let go of? So write that down. That is your third list. Okay. And then after you're done writing all these different lists, these three lists down, and you've, jotted down as much as you can remember from the past 10 years, from the past decade, then I want you to circle the most important things to let go of. Very important. Circle the most important things to let go of. Are there hurts in the past that you have harbored bitterness, right? And because of that bitterness, every time you think about that person, there's this, your heart just gets all knotted up, right? So circle the most important things that you want to let go of. And then B, answer why it's crucial to let these things go of now. The bitterness, the resentment, the unforgiveness, the hurts, the pain. Now, I want to point out a caveat here. When you're dealing with toxic people, I really want to encourage you, and that's part of, I wrote that down in my chapter book here, that as much as you can, Stay away, keep away from toxic people. But if you're related to them and there are occasions where there's social obligations or social gatherings where you're going to be in the presence of toxic people, make sure that you set your healthy boundaries and that these toxic people know that you have these healthy boundaries, and make sure that you have other people that will back you up in case this toxic person goes off into their own spiraling down, right? So what I mean by when I say um, letting go of the old baggage, it's regarding yourself. Are you going to start seeking inner healing? Are you going to decide to get healed from the hurts that these toxic people or just regular people, because everybody sins, right? These people have done to you, whether they're huge um, business dealings that you were cheated or something like that, or whether it's something that's a little bit more on the personal side where somebody did you wrong or somebody hurt you, somebody betrayed you, somebody gossiped about you. It has to do with, we're talking about yourself. When you let go of emotional baggage, we're talking about, are you ready to forgive? Forgiveness doesn't mean that you trust that toxic person or you trust these people. It just means that you are not, you don't have them in a cage in your mind and they're taking up mental space over and over and over and over again, right? It's getting healed and being able to forgive them, whether or not you still relate to them and whether or not they ask you for forgiveness. That is vital. And that's in my chapter book. So if you haven't gotten the book Unstoppable, my chapter book is entitled How to Become Unstoppable. And it's very important to read my chapter book on how to really be able to become unstoppable. And part of the one of the first things I say is that I'm going to read part of the book. If you truly want to become unstoppable, one of the first and most important decisions you'll ever make is this: acknowledge any and all traumatic incidents and events that you've experienced, and then choose to seek help in getting healed from these. That's the first thing I recommend if you really want to become unstoppable. After you've been healed from the inside out, I'm going to stop right there because I want you to get the book. 99 cents, gift it, give it to someone. You can buy the Kindle version of Unstoppable for others as long as they have an Amazon account, and you can just reach out to them, ask them what their email is so that you can send them the ebook gift to their email address, and they'll easily claim their ebook. By the way, as you can tell from the crawler below, you do not need to have a Kindle reader. You don't have to have a Kindle Fire or a Kindle device to read Kindle ebooks. All you need is to download the free Kindle app on your smartphone, on your laptop, on your desktop. The Kindle app is free. Just go to your app store. If you're on, if you have iPhones or on iMac or an Apple device, go to the Apple App Store and download the Kindle app for free. Or if you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store and download your free Kindle app, and you can read whatever Kindle books you want to read. And also those you want to gift the Kindle book Unstoppable uh, to, just let them know they don't have to have a Kindle reader. They don't have to have a Kindle device. They just need to download the app. Okay. Let's move on to letter C. What have these old goals, emotional baggage, resentments, limiting beliefs, excuses cost you over the past 10 years? This is so huge. Oh my goodness. When you answer these questions and you really think about what are these different emotional baggages, old goals, resentments, limiting beliefs, and excuses cost you, it I know it's cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, right? When I didn't get healed. Now I've gotten healed. By the way, this past decade, my husband and I experienced really uh, hard experiences. We had relationship issues of people who had betrayed us, people who had said one thing and didn't do it, and they really hurt us badly. But do we have unforgiveness toward these people? No, no. One of the first things that my husband and I did was to choose to get healed, choose to get healed in our inner being, right? Inner healing is so important. And now they can, we don't necessarily do business with them. We don't necessarily have any relationship with them, but we don't have any angst. When we think about them, our hearts don't go, right? We don't have any resentment or unforgiveness toward them because this, in the past 10 years, in this past decade, when we experienced these things, very hurtful things, we immediately sought to get healed, right? So that's why it's not costing us anymore. But what are the things when I didn't, right? If I hadn't, or if you haven't sought the inner healing from these old baggages, resentments, bitterness, excuses, etc., what is it going to cost you in this coming decade? Letter D. Are there things you haven't achieved or experienced because you've held on to these baggages, the old goals, the limiting beliefs? I'm too old. I'm too young. Everything's been said and done. I have whatever excuses you make. Are there things you haven't achieved or experienced because you've held on to these? Okay. I want to greet my friend Joy. Hi, Joy. How are you doing? Let me show this on the stream. Happy blessed New Year. Happy blessed New Year to you too, Joy. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I want to wish you a very blessed and prosperous New Year. Happy and blessed New Year to you as well. Thank you for joining me live. And Joy, uh, if you can see the share arrow below on the bottom right of your screen, share this broadcast and I'm going to gift you the exponential U zone versus the comfort zone. It's a graphic I created, and just click that button, post it on your Facebook timeline, and I'm going to send this to you right away because Facebook shows those who are broadcasting who's shared, or those who have posted on Facebook who shared the post that they made. Okay. Now we're now going to do part three. This is very exciting because when we dive into part three, this is after you've talked about your what things you're proud of, what things you're happy about the most, what things you've experienced, what results have you created, and then you also listed down the limiting beliefs, the old baggage, and the old goals, etc. Now, part three, very exciting. Let's now create your supernatural 10-year plan, because you're not just a natural person, you are a supernatural person. And again, I want to point out this very important verse of scripture, of ancient scripture: where there is no vision, the people are unrestrained. And another version says, where there is no clear prophetic vision, people quickly wander astray. Okay. And as we've said, why is it important to do this exercise? Because 2019 isn't an ordinary year. It marks the end of a decade. Okay. Now, part three, let's create your supernatural 10-year plan. I want to point out a quote from J.C.R. Licklider. He is a psychologist and computer scientist, and he says, people overestimate what can be done in 1 year and underestimate what can be done in 10. I know that I've created goals for myself for a year, and there are some that I don't really get to do, right? Because, well, of life happens, but there are goals that I've achieved, but I don't get to do all of them. I want to be very authentic with you, but I can transfer these goals to the new year, right? To this new decade. And why is it important? Why is it important to create your supernatural 10-year plan? Well, as I've said before, the Bible verse that says, um, where there's no clear prophetic vision, right? People quickly wander astray. So you don't want to do that. And another thing is, why do we want to plan? Well, because a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. That's in Proverbs 16:9. And so, by the way, just because it says a man, it means human beings, right? It means men and women, okay? So when you don't have a plan, then you're just going to waste time. You're going to squander time. That's why we want to create a 10-year plan. Because even though, let's say you plan things that may not be in the Lord's agenda for you or purpose for you, it's okay, because He's going to direct your steps. You can trust that. You can trust him to direct your steps. There may be goals that you have that he might want you to just slightly tweak or revise, right? But at least you have something, because you do not want to squander time. When you don't have vision, you don't have a prophetic vision, you do not want to squander any more time. So let's dive in. So step 4, what's next? Well, what do you want to achieve? Ask yourself this question. What do you want to achieve, create, and experience over the next 10 years? Write this question down. And again, you can always go to back to the replay and rewind to this section if I'm going too fast. Letter A, 5 personal life categories. I want you to think about 5 personal life categories. And these are your health and fitness, very important, your intellectual life, your emotional life, your character, your spiritual life. Your character, for example, are you going are you growing deeper in your trustworthiness, your faithfulness, your self-control, your gentleness, right? In your spiritual life, are you growing deeper in your knowledge of the Lord, right? And are you gaining more wisdom and knowledge in the things of God, right? So those are the 5 personal categories. What else? Well, there are also, letter B, 3 relationship categories: your love relationship, your parenting, your social life, right? And you can include grandparenting, underparenting, right? And so think about that. What do you want to achieve, create, and experience? And then letter C, 2 business categories: financial and your career. Okay. And if you have a business, you can substitute career for business. Or if you have both a career and you have a side business, then you can write what you want to create, achieve, and experience in that area. Next, quality of life. This is writing down the things that you want in your life and the things you want to experience in your life and your home environment. And also, letter E, your life vision. This seems so grandiose, right? This is a synopsis of the life that you've been purposed and called to live. And just think about, instead of thinking for the next 20, 30 more years or whatever, just think about the next 10 years. What is a life vision that you could write down? Your life vision. What do you believe that the Lord has for you to do and has purposed and called you to do in the next decade, the 2020s, the decade which is going to be the greatest decade for faith based people, for believers? Okay. So now I said it's going to be supernatural. The things that I listed down, anybody can do it, whether they're faith based or not. Atheists can do it, right? Agnostics can do it. But what about those who really believe that you are a supernatural being? You're a spirit who lives in a body and who has a mind and will and emotions. Well, here's the difference. Number one, when you create your 10, once you've written down what you want to create in those 12 categories, you've listed everything down. Do you want to achieve? You want to experience? You want to create? Do you want to create and write a book? Do you want to create and write children's books? Right? Do you want to visit a country in Eastern Europe? Right? Do you want to visit a country in Africa, or countries in Africa, or countries in Asia, or countries in the Middle East? Right? So write those things down, and after you've done that, here's the difference for those of you who are supernatural in your mindset. I want you to surround yourself with trustworthy faith based people or coaches or mentors with whom you could share your 10-year plan. And they're not going to look down on you, they're not going to judge you, but you trust them. And when they give you feedback, it's going to build you up, it's going to edify you, it's going to be encouraging. So surround yourself with those kinds of this kind of people, right? And secondly, the difference between all types of other 10-year plans and this supernatural 10-year plan is, I want you to be accountable to trustworthy people regarding your progress, preferably those who believe in the supernatural, those who believe that there is life after death, those who believe in scriptures, those who are grounded and anchored in the word of God, and they hear the Lord, and they can hear the Lord for you, and will only share with you what the Lord wants them to share with you and praise for you about the things that the Lord doesn't release for them to share with you regarding your life, regarding your progress, regarding your relationships, etc. Right? Okay. Well, that is the end of the broadcast as far as the content. I want you to comment below and share again, share this broadcast. And when you get this book, 99 cents, and give it to a friend, because this is going to go up in price to $5.99 as of December 31. I want you to get one for a friend or a family member who will really benefit from this. And again, as I've shared in my chapter Unstoppable, I talk about how to become unstoppable. There are many things I've listed down here that are nuggets of wisdom. I talk about marriage, I talk about parenting, I talk about singlehood, I talk about what to do to make your marriage stronger and how to really become unstoppable. When you get this, because you can buy a copy for a family member or friend. If you look at the Amazon page where the Kindle copies are available, you'll find a section that says "Buy for Others." So when you do that, I'm going to give you my $79 online course, which is called the Exponential Success Boot Camp, for free. I'm going to give you full access, and also I'm going to give you the the ebook that I'm finishing up, which is this broadcast, How to Do a Decade in Review and Create a Supernatural 10-Year Plan. I'm going to give you the ebook for free when you just buy the 99-cent Kindle book of Unstoppable for a friend or a family member. And just email me at, let's see, where's my email address? My email address is customerstrategyacademy@gmail.com. I have so many index cards here right now. I cannot find my email address. But anyway, I'm going to type it in the comments. It's customerstrategyacademy@gmail.com. And so just send me a screenshot that you bought Unstoppable and that you sent it to or you gifted it to a family member or a friend, and I'm going to give you my $79 course as well as my free ebook, which is called how to how to do a decade in review and create a supernatural 10-year plan. All right, well, I want to end with music because I have a guitar, if you see the guitar behind me there, and I play the guitar. um, so maybe I'm gonna strum a little bit and just make and sing all Lang Syne to you. All right. Thank you so much, Joy. Appreciate you. Okay. So I'm just going to strum the guitar and then sing for you and then end with a song. And in the meantime, please comment below if you have any comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay. And let's just do this. All right. I'm just gonna pluck the strings. Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to light? Should all acquaintance be forgot and days of all mankind? For all lang syne, my dear, for all lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for all lang syne. Awesome. Well, I want to wish you a very blessed and prosperous new year. And I'm going to send you all the bonuses I mentioned. And those bonuses are effective only for today until the time that I raise the price of the Kindle book to $5.99. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share this broadcast. And I'm Jackie Mori. Live a life of significance and leave your legendary legacy. Have a blessed day and a very blessed and prosperous new year. Bye.